Hi, I'm Twitch, Twin Flame Witch, and welcome back to my channel. If you're new, please subscribe. And in the description area, there'll be an arrow. It's kind of like an arrow by the name of the video. And you click on that, you'll get the rest of the information. What I do is, there's things that I talk about, and then of course you're not gonna remember it all. So I put the information there, especially like, you know, like recipe spells, that kind of stuff. So also in the comment section, I will have pinned the timestamps. I do that probably about, I don't know, it sometimes takes me about an hour or two to do it because I walked it through, but anyway, when I edit it, it's easier for me to do it because I know where it starts and stops. There's gonna be several different small sections. So this video will be finally discussing the importance of herbal interactions with your medication, why it's important to know these things. And you may not be on medications, you might have health problems, or you can have hereditary issues, like your mother or your grandmother has lupus, or breast cancer runs in your family, those kind of things. It's very important we discuss this because I learned a lot doing research, and one of the most common herbs is actually one of the most commonly known dangerous herbs. Like, there's more interactions or reactions, whatever, with this specific herb. So we will be discussing all that. So because this herb is often showing up in research on herbs you shouldn't mix with medications, or you shouldn't take with certain health problems or whatever, and certain genders shouldn't take certain medications. And what I mean by that is, it's not always the gender you were born as, because if you're taking hormone supplements, that may also interact with it. So we're going to just start with that, and that one is actually chamomile. But I first want to list the herbs that are dangerous or you cannot consume, okay? So we'll start with that part. These herbs should not be consumed at all. So elderberries, actually, those can be consumed, but they can't be raw because then it's poisonous, okay? So arnica, borage, calamus, coltsfoot, comfrey leaf. It's a common herb. These other ones aren't, but it cannot be consumed. Life root, sassafras, chaparral, and germander. And this next herb you cannot consume if you have regular periods. It is rue. Like if you're trying to stop your period like me with endometriosis, do not consume it. Or I mean, I wouldn't consume it as a female because it'll mess your periods up. But if you're trying to get your periods to come on, like you just know it's off balance from stress, then you can consume it. We're discussing herbs that you can consume, but you must be careful with. And we're going to start with chamomile because it pops up on like all of the different topics when you're researching. So if you're taking a blood thinner, which is an anticoagulant drug like aspirin or warfarin, chamomile can cause a lot of issues. So also, internal bleeding or alter the effects of how medication is broken down in the body. And those medications are warfarin, cyclosporine. It's to prevent rejection after organ transplant. And also, that medication is like, it's broken down in the liver by CYP3A4. It's an enzyme, and chamomile inhibits the function of this enzyme. So it also these other medications as well, because they all have the CYP3A4 in it. Okay, these are tricyclic antidepressants: Elavil, anafranil, and tofranil. Clozapine, which is antipsychotic. I'm reading these off instead of trying to memorize them because they're difficult anyway. Inderal, it's a beta blocker for high blood pressure. Theophylline, it's Theophylline, theophylline. It's a bronchodilator. It's for lung conditions. And Cognex, used to treat Alzheimer's or dementia. And also, if you have diabetes or take insulin, you're not supposed to drink chamomile tea. I'm like, son of a... Wow, I have issues with my blood sugar. So, oh, and also, here's another one. Immunosuppressants, which are to prevent the body, like we were discussing earlier, from rejecting organ transplants or to control the symptoms in autoimmune diseases. I have an autoimmune disease, lupus. So herbs that stimulate the immune system may counteract with the medications, or even triggering, I wrote this really sloppy, autoimmune disease, and in those predisposed genetically. So if your grandmother has lupus and you were taking an autoimmune suppressant for, okay, say you end up having to have a organ transplant, which had nothing to do with lupus, because you don't even have lupus yet, and you've been drinking a lot of chamomile tea, you can end up having lupus. Like, there is a medical lupus, medicinal lupus, like calls for medicine. It's crazy, isn't it? It's one of the types of lupus. Like, I have SLE, systemic lupus erythematosus, I think it's how it's pronounced. I don't ever talk about SLE, so I don't need to memorize it. I tried to when I was younger, and that's as far as I got. I can't pronounce certain things. My sister's even worse than me. If I slow down, I can, but my mind goes really fast. I have a genius IQ, and you wouldn't be able to tell it, but... Okay, so anyway. So there's something I have to go back over in a minute. So the immunosuppressant drugs, I want to list the names of them. Cyclosporine, azathioprine, corticosteroids, which is like prednisone. If you have lupus, you've taken prednisone many times in your life. Or if you get, before we even found out about the lupus, I had sinus infections all the time, sinusitis, and so I had to take prednisone a lot. Now I can't take it all because I have a reaction to it. Okay, and the other one is methotrexate. I've heard of these, even if I hadn't taken the other ones. So, I'm going to, oh yes, chamomile. So, you must stop drinking chamomile before you have surgery. And that is, I think that's all on chamomile. So, I think I'm going to go on to the herbs that cause issues. These are the herbs that you can consume, but you must be careful with, okay? So, licorice root. It can raise your blood pressure and cause kidney and heart issues. So, ephedra, also known as mahong, it causes issues. I don't have it written down what it is. I'm sorry. Kava is dangerous. Kava. It is very dangerous. That's the one that I overdosed on. So please be careful. It caused me to dehydrate. Like, I started getting these Charlie horses. That's what it started with. And then, of course, it ended with my heart racing and, well, an overdose. So please be very careful with those. Ginger was one of them. Golden seal. These are things you must be careful with. They have different side effects, but I guess that's why I didn't put what it was. Golden seal, aloe causes blood clots. Ginseng causes blood sugar issues. I am experiencing that one currently. Black cohosh, liver problems or breast cancer. Garlic can thin blood. Stinging nettle, don't take if you retain fluids. And feverfew, heart and blood issues. So that is one I should probably be careful with myself. And next we're going to go on to herbs you must stop before any type of herbs you must stop before surgeries are chamomile, as we discussed, ginger, ginseng, kava kava, licorice root, saw palmetto, valerian roots, and vitamin E. If you're taking any type of blood thinner like aspirin or warfarin, you do not need to be using the following herbs below in your teas or consuming them at all. So that's aloe vera, chamomile, obviously, danshin, devil's claw, dongquai, feverfew, garlic, ginger, ginseng, goji, saw palmetto, and willow bark. Did you know that the herbs used in breast enhancement pills can cause you to be at greater risk for endometrial and breast cancer? Those two items that I found while researching are fenugreek and hops. Especially at my age, at 35, I find myself constantly trying to find things to help keep me awake or give me energy, especially when I'm trying to do these videos. And if you guys watch my videos, you will know the most common herb, if not always, that I put in my tea for energy, and that's yerba mate. Actually, it's not a good idea if you drink it very hot or in large quantities or every day. So large quantities and every day. Yeah, so it's associated with these types of cancers: esophageal, oral, lung, and bladder. So if you are using those every day, I'd be very careful, especially if you are predisposed to any types of cancer, any types in your family. If cancer runs in your family, I probably would stay away from it or just not drink it as often. Some people turn to herbs for chronic constipation. They're called anthronoid laxatives, and they're actually pretty unsafe. So they are linked to chronic diarrhea, muscle weakness, potentially dangerous irregular heart rhythms, kidney or liver impairment. You should not be taking this longer than a week because it can cause those issues. And those anthronoid laxatives that we're discussing are aloe, cascara, frangula, senna, and rheum. I'm not familiar with all these herbs, so that's what I do. I do research, and not only do I learn, I teach you guys as well. Concluding our video today, since obviously I do not start my videos with this anymore, is what we're sipping on. So I know you see something that you usually don't. I forgot. I still have this Ziploc bag full of, the store-bought tea bags, and I have to use 2 at a time. So these are the yogi ones, and they're called Perfect Energy. They have things like passion flower, ashwagandha. What else is in it? It's some stuff that I commonly use, and I actually got the ideas from that one, and I wanted to make it myself. And anyway, I didn't feel like going through all the trouble, so that's what I did. So you can actually probably look that up online, and it'll tell you all the ingredients. It's quite a long list. But, so I hope you guys got something out of this video. And now that we've gotten past like the basics, then we'll start discussing all the different herbs there is, and different blends you can do, blah, blah, blah. And then we'll also do the same with like essential oil spells. Like, we got to get the basics out of the way, and then we can get to the good stuff, right? So if you haven't noticed yet, I have a live video that I'm supposed to be doing Saturday. But it's now postponed. So I will make another video maybe Saturday, and I will let you know what the contest guidelines are. So anyway, I hope you guys have a good night, and I will see you tomorrow.